Ghana and Burkina Faso signed 7 agreements aimed at enhancing economic integration, security cooperation, and border management. And the health minister warns that doctors who refuse rural postings face removal from the payroll. Also coming up this afternoon, Chief Justice announces major reforms to bar court systems. My name is George Quinn. You have details of these and many more coming up in the next 16 minutes if you spend your time with me. You can also get interactive with us. We're live on Facebook, it's TV3 Ghana. Let's begin from here. Ghana and Burkina Faso have signed bilateral agreements aimed at deepening economic integration, strengthening border management, and enhancing security cooperation. And this follows the deadly extremist attack that led to the killing of 8 Ghanaian nationals in Tao. These two governments strongly condemn the latest violent extremist assault in the northern Burkina Faso town. The 7 agreements reached include 1. Agreement on the mutual recognition of national driver's licenses, agreement on transport and road transit, and framework agreement on cross-border cooperation. And the 4th is memorandum of understanding on the establishment of periodic conduction frameworks between the border administrative authorities and memorandum of understanding regarding the creation of a joint commission to reaffirm the border between the two countries, and cooperation agreement on the prevention and management of disasters and humanitarian crises. The last one is agreement in the field of fighting illicit cultivation, production, manufacture and trafficking of narcotic drugs, psychotropic substances, and related matters. Well, let's stay a little longer on this very development and engage Dr. Doke, who is a lecturer, Faculty of Economic Affairs at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. Doc, how do these agreements address the concerns of Ghanaian traders and communities affected by the recent extremist attacks? And well, if you just tuned in, you are watching Weekend Central here on TV3. And the latest is that Ghana and Burkina Faso have signed bilateral agreements aimed at deepening economic integration, strengthening border management, and enhancing security cooperation. This follows the deadly extremist attack that led to the killing of 8 Ghanaian nationals in Titao. The two governments strongly condemn the latest violent extremist assault in the northern Burkina Faso town. These 7 agreements reach include agreement on the mutual recognition of national driver's licenses, agreement on transport and road transit, and the 3rd is framework agreement on cross-border cooperation, and memorandum of understanding on the establishment of periodic consultation frameworks between the border administrative authorities. The 5th, memorandum of understanding regarding the creation of a joint commission to reaffirm the border between the two countries, and cooperation agreement on the prevention and management of disasters and humanitarian crisis. Agreement in the field of fighting illicit cultivation, production, manufacture and trafficking of narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances and related matters as the last agreement. Dr. Victor Doke is a lecturer at the Faculty of Economic Affairs, Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. Doc, how do these agreements address the concerns of Ghanaian traders and communities affected by the recent extremist attacks?
Well, thank you very much. I think, first of all, let's understand something with regards to this agreement in the context of the Permanent Joint Commission for Cooperation. Okay. Now, it is an agreement on paper, yes. Until its implementation, we cannot evaluate and assess its success with regards to addressing the concerns of the citizens or the traders. So they need to now look at how the modalities will be, spun out. Who goes into what, which agency comes into which, collaborates with which agency and whatnot. So it's a very tall order now. It's just on paper. It's been reenacted after so many years. So unless they implement it in the 2 states, i.e. the entities that are very needed to collaborate and come to formulate the real core policies and recommendations how to go about things cannot ascertain whether it's going to be successful or not, because we've had, similar, agreements such as this, and it's all been on paper, but implementation has been a problem.
Okay. Doc, how will the mutual recognition of national driver's license and transport agreements impact trade and movement between Ghana and Burkina Faso?
That will ease a lot of challenges with regards to the trading activities, because you have one document that both countries recognize. So here again, modalities will have to come in. How do they even come with regards to disassociating those who are not commercial from private, from large cargo or whatever? So in essence, the objective, which will require traders to move easily, will be obtained. Now you talk about the airport movement. It is already something that is in existence. So this agreement is just something to buttress or support what already already has been put on paper, and I think it's in a good direction. But what I was expecting to see with that is a very comprehensive candidate security cooperation. I'm not seeing in this agreement, and that is a worry. The representation of the country itself without very key personalities such as the defense minister or national security minister is a worry also. But I saw the representative for the Sahelian state, and I think these are things that we need to look at in the next time we want to have agreements with the Sahelian state especially.
Okay, Doc, these 7 agreements have been reached, and let's look at sustainability. So what measures can be put in place to ensure effective implementation of the agreement, particularly in areas like border management and disaster prevention?
I think the two countries would now have to sit down and then iron out. These are just thematic points that would guide the agencies and the representatives from those agencies now to sit down and iron out sustainability. Politically, it is to targeted at our objective to ensure border management prevents illicit flows of drugs and all of that. So it is now the honors of the two entities to sit down and then draw out the modalities. So we don't have confusion, we don't have conflict of interest, we don't have any kind of arguments coming out of this. So I think the challenge now is how Burkina and Ghana officials, Burkina Faso officials, Ghana officials will now sit down and then iron out and draw very comprehensive modalities. We are talking about a long-term sustainable process. It is not just a short term. Looking at how this, JCC has been in government for so many years. So what is the guarantee that with all these agreements coming in, we won't just sit down and then they will go dormant again? So the proactiveness of the two states will determine if this comes to fruition.
Doc, before you take leave of us, what role can regional organizations like ECOWAS play in supporting the implementation of these agreements and promoting regional cooperation, even though Burkina Faso is no longer a member of the bloc?
It is going to be a challenge for them to come and say they want to support. Well, I see one aspect when it comes to security. They may say they want to support, but by and large, they know what ECOWAS stands for. And if Burkina Faso wants to cooperate with regards to security on any front, then it means they would have to think about coming back to the regional bloc, which I don't see happening anytime soon. So with regards to whether ECOWAS is going to support this kind of framework or policy, I don't think it will happen now. There is a discussion that our foreign minister and the hierarchy will have happened on that. Whether they come in, which areas are they going to come in specifically is another thing to talk about. So I think, my brother, we are in for a bigger challenge than I see.
Doc, thank you so much for your time. It's always a pleasure engaging your thoughts on topical issues of this sort, and we'll always come back to you for more clarity on this very development. In more news this afternoon, the finance minister has talked tough about the recent interception of some 12 out of 18 articulated trucks evading taxes in excess of 85 million cedis. Dr. Keselato Forson described the act as an organized crime, citing the huge leakage as troubling in a group of people conniving to rob the state. Take a listen.
I am very disgusted about what happened yesterday. And very, very, very disappointed. I say this because, you see, if you have a country with such magnitude of development challenge, where unemployment is high, up to date, school children are studying under trees, where we struggle to fund free senior high school, where basic amenities, even at certain hospitals, are a challenge, and you see revenue leakage of such magnitude, you get disappointed. And it's coming from customs. I will say it as it is. What happened yesterday was nothing short of organized crime. It's a group of citizens coming together to dupe a country.
So this is a press release regarding this very development. And yesterday, the finance minister was at the Akanu and Aflao borders. And on 18 February 2026, the GRA, through its customs division, intercepted 18 articulated trucks as goods in transit to Niger. Intelligence and field surveillance established the trucks were moving without the mandatory customs human escorts required for such consignment. The trucks were released from the Akanu border post for transit through the eastern corridor, exiting at Kulungulu en route to Niger under bill entry number 80226125039. The declared cargo comprises 44,055 packages weighing 879,800 kilograms. 12 of the 18 trucks have been impounded. 11 are currently secured at the time of transit yard for detailed inspection, investigation, and further legal processing. And one truck overturned while attempting to evade interception, spilling its cargo. The remaining 6 trucks are being actively pursued. Initial suspended duties and taxes were assessed as some 2.6 million cedis. However, post-intelligence examination uncovered material discrepancies in declared its values, tariff classifications, and weights. And these irregularities actually amounted to some 85 million cedis. The impounded goods will be auctioned in accordance with applicable laws. And in response to this incident and the abuse of transit operations, the minister has directed the Ghana Revenue Authority to implement the following measures. All land transit of cooking oil is hereby prohibited. Such consignment must be routed exclusively through Ghana's seaports. All transactions originating from land collection points will be subjected to enhanced monitoring, tracking, and strict compliance enforcement to safeguard state revenue and prompt implementation of disciplinary measures and legal prosecution of customs officers found culpable in similar circumstances. So, obviously, we'll give you more updates on this if you join us here on TV3. And now the Health Minister, Kwabena Mintah-Kando, has reiterated government's firm decision to remove from the payroll all medical doctors who have refused postings to rural communities by the end of February 2026. According to the minister, the move forms part of broader efforts by the Ministry of Health to address the persistent shortages of health professionals in underserved areas. Take a listen to the minister.
Actually, those who were posted like 2 years ago obviously are working at their various places. But since I took office as a minister, we insisted that we were sending these 700 people to the districts. And so we gave them some timelines, we gave them the opportunities, support opportunities. I have followed up to the regions, we have appealed to the DCEs, regional directors, chiefs, ministers, to be able to give them a befitting accommodation, some allowances. Some regions are doing it. So we think that you cannot be receiving salaries whilst you've not reported. If there's a genuine concern, why not? But so far, I have not seen any genuine concern. Any part of this country is a country, so it's part of Ghana. And so we think that the people must go to wherever they are needed most. And so by the end of February, if you have not reported, we'll take your name out of the payroll, and then the vacancies left, we'll still advertise the vacancies, and we'll look at the next batch. Those who are willing and ready to go to those areas, we'll let them go and fill those capacities. So we're not going to compromise on that one at all. Unfortunately, sorry, we can't do anything about it.
And now let's look at the doors of the ministry and get some answers. Tony Goodman is a spokesperson for the ministry. Tony, good afternoon. Thanks for your time. The minister has reiterated government's decision to remove doctors who actually refuse rural postings from the payroll. What exactly triggered this firm stance at this time?
Thank you. Good afternoon to our viewers. The payroll here means financial clearance. You know, for medical officers, immediately you get them posted, you are able to get them onto a payroll. Yeah. So the minister is referring to that opportunity that if you do not accept postings to your posted areas, you may not get the opportunity. Your name will be taken off that particular platform, which is actually a platform that allows you to be paid. Currently, we have gone around some part of the regions, and some have accepted posting. Others have not. But the minister has given various ultimatum, and this is the final one. Ends.
Tony. Okay, I can hear you.
Is it okay now?
It's better.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you've not accepted posting, you would be taken off that platform.
Okay. But Tony, look at the state of some of these rural communities. Beyond enforcement, what incentives is government actually providing to these professionals to make it very lucrative? Because there are some areas where you might not want to go because of the state of the community.
That's correct. We may not be able to build all roads in Ghana today.
Yeah.
We may not be able to put infrastructure we want today. However, when we went around, the Honorable Minister met MPs, DCEs, and before them, some plea that if you want me to post doctors to you, you must also make sure that you give me some decent infrastructure in terms of accommodation, their transportation, and some basic remuneration for them to be retained. So these are some of the things we are doing. Some MPs and DCs have accepted this call and they are doing it. However, we cannot say that because we don't have rules there, the people there should not also receive care. Before anybody is trained or you even gain admission, you are asked, would you accept posting to any of the rural areas in Ghana? If you say no, you won't be given admission. If you say yes, you are given admission. So from day one, you are told that where we need you is actually in the rural community. So it's just unfortunate that we don't have these things there. But some minimal accommodation has been made available for our colleague doctors to go and help our mothers and sisters.
But I want to believe that persons that want to change their postings from rural communities to Accra will come to an end. Is that what it is?
It has actually come to an end.
It has. How true is that?
Sorry, the minister reiterated that point and said, if you dare change any postings as a staff in the Ministry of Health, you also change yourself.
Come on.
Which means that this is a serious matter.
Okay, finally.
Nobody is able to change anything.
Finally, before you go, on the part of the ministry, are you ready to actually improve accommodation and security in these rural areas?
Yes, this is we can only do this collaboratively with other state institutions, other development agents like that.
Okay. Well, I think we have issues with
the agents in the community. The agents in the community are those we are currently using.
Okay.
We have gone around, we've engaged them, and they are also doing their best. As a ministry, ours is to train and put, and we are currently doing that. We pray and hope that every agent in our various community will hit to this call and help us provide some minimal accommodation and vehicles for our dear doctors.
Tony, I'll come back to you anytime we want clarity on this very development. You mentioned that the issue has halted. We'll come back to you and then get more answers on that. Tony Goodman is a spokesperson for the Health Ministry. If you're a professional, let's know what you make of this very enforcement. You're active on Facebook is TV3 Ghana. Hopefully, we'll read your comments and share them to the rest of the world. Let's still remain in the sector. The Health Minister, Kwabena Mintakando, has assured the general public and victims of the recent baby theft incident of government commitment to ensure such acts are nipped in the bud. The minister gave the assurance after visiting mother and child at the Kolubu Teaching Hospital. Meanwhile, the victim's family maintained justice must be delivered to serve as a deterrent to others.
The health minister first visited the Mamprobi Hospital, where the incident happened, to attain first-hand information from the management and staff of the facility on the circumstances leading to the incident. Management of the hospital took the opportunity to outline challenges affecting their operations and interventions they are currently administering to ensure patient and staff safety.
What is very important is the measures we have put in place and we are putting in place to prevent the reoccurrence of this nature of incidents. If incidents of this nature happens, they lead to major reforms. And so we have issued clear instructions and clear directives that no health professional should be seen on duty without being duly identified, wearing your name tag to identify you. It's a sin at this point in time. So those who are not enforcing that particular directive, if anything happens, we will, deal with you.
The minister later on visited the children's department of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, where the mother and baby are on admission.
He can confirm that it's the same baby. And so the baby is receiving treatment at the moment, and we are monitoring the event. Meanwhile, the Ministry for that, but the Ghana Health Service is investigating. The police, the criminal aspect is also being investigated. So very soon, when all investigations are concluded, we will implement recommendations from the investigation.
Father of the baby, Mohammed Ajiman, wants justice to be served.
The most important thing is the child, and we have gotten it. But just that we are having, this is my first time meeting the minister and gender minister. Yes, they have done their parts as they are still supporting. So we are grateful to that. We just need to, the law needs to work so that this thing may end, you understand? So because I've been hearing this not the first time. This is my first time seeing something like that, you understand? So we just need to make the law strong so that it works as we all expect.
The baby theft occurred on Tuesday, February 17, 2026 at the Mamprobi Hospital in Accra. The suspect has since been apprehended and is in police custody.
Well, let's stay on health, as 5 persons have died from meningitis in the Upper West region. The Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Samuel Kaba Koyue, during a tour of the region, called for intensified public education on the disease. Ibrahim Wangara reports from WA.
The Upper West Regional Health Directorate has disclosed that from week 1 to week 7 of this year, the region recorded 34 suspected cases of meningitis. Out of the number, 7 cases have been confirmed, with 5 deaths reported. Dr. Josephat Nuzak is the Upper West Regional Director of Health Services.
If you compare the numbers vis-a-vis what we saw last year, the situation this year is much better.
The Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Samuel Kaba, paid a working visit to the region to assess response efforts and interact with health officials on the ground. Dr. Kaba expressed concern over the deaths recorded and stressed the need for intensified efforts to contain the outbreak.
Unfortunate that we tend to lose our children, we tend to lose our adults in Ghanaians. And as I always say, every Ghanaian that we lose is really making our country poorer. Because the child who is born here, just like the late Ila Liman, who was our president, that child can become the president of the nation.
As part of the visit, the Director General and his team toured the regional and municipal hospitals alongside Nadoli Hospital, which has so far recorded 12 suspected cases, 3 of which have been confirmed.
Well, you're watching Weekend Central here on TV3. We're going for a quick commercial break. We're back with more news. Stay with us.
A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, let's go.
Welcome back from the break. In more news this afternoon, the Chief Justice, Paul Bafuboni, has announced an end to long-standing perceptions of inequality in the call to the bar system. The General Legal Counsel, he said, has abolished the perceived distinction between the main call and mini call.
Addressing inductees for the Ghana School of Law, Kumasi campus, Justice Bafuboni says both calls will carry the same professional and ceremonial significance.
What was previously referred to as the mini call will now be known as the March call, while the traditional main call will be designated as the October call. Candidates who satisfy the prescribed requirements may apply for either call without stigma, without artificial distinction, and without prejudice.
The Chief Justice also hinted at the possibility of holding call ceremonies in Kumasi to ease pressure on students who traditionally travel to Accra. He reminded the students that the journey into the legal profession demands more than academic brilliance.
The path before you will demand more than intelligence. It will demand courage. Courage to defend principle when it is unpopular. Courage to uphold ethics when compromise is convenient. And courage to remain faithful to the law when personal interests suggest otherwise. Never forget that the legal profession is not sustained by brilliance alone. It is sustained by integrity.
Acting Director of Legal Education and Acting Director of Ghana School of Law, Professor Raymond Atuguba, urged students to rise to the demands of the institution and resist shortcuts, reminding them that disciplined persistence produces lasting results.
The law does not reward surprise. It rewards preparation, and preparation strives on rehearsal. There shall be no room for arbitrariness, guesswork, rumor, surprise, nor anxiety. For fairness in legal education is not kindness, it is justice.
The Ashanti Regional President of the Ghana Bar Association, Kwame Owusu-Setre, stressed that the legal profession is highly regulated by ethics.
Now the public have become aware that there is what we call disciplinary committee of the General Legal Counsel, for which any infraction of the ethics, they send you there. Please, you can only defend yourself by complying with the ethics of the profession.
The inductees were reminded that they are being trained to defend liberties, safeguard rights, and uphold the constitutional order.
Away from legal-related matters, Minister for the Interior, Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak, has reiterated government's commitment to leveraging technology to improve fire safety regulations and also enhance public protection. He made these remarks at the launch of the Automated Fire Compliance and Safety System AFCAS, a digital platform designed to transform safety regulations and improve service delivery across the country. Ghana has experienced the devastating consequences of fire outbreaks year after year. Lives lost, businesses destroyed, families displaced. In too many of these tragedies, the underlying cause has been the same: properties that lack the fire safety measures they needed. The introduction of the Automated Fire Compliance and Safety System AFCAS aims to correct that, as well as enhance Ghana National Fire Service's ability to check all properties and fire equipment to ensure compliance with approved safety standards. Apart from making sure that everyone follows the same fire safety rules, AFCAS will also help prevent fires before they start. Chief Fire Officer of the Ghana National Fire Service, Daniela Mausi Into Sapon, described the introduction of AFCAS as a defining moment in the operational evolution of the service.
I assure all stakeholders that the service is fully committed to the successful rollout and nationwide implementation of AFCAS. We pledge our total support to ensure that the system delivers its intended benefits and position the Ghana National Fire Service as a modern, efficient, and forward-looking public safety institution.
Minister for the Interior, Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak, explained that AFCAS will strengthen inspection planning and generate reliable data to support evidence-based decision-making and long-term safety planning nationwide.
A predictable, transparent, and efficient regulatory environment is essential for attracting and retaining both the local and foreign investment. The AFCAS directly support this objective. AFCAS is fundamentally a preventive public safety tool. It enhances the fire service to monitor compliance in real time, identify high-risk facility early, and take proactive measures to prevent fire outbreak before they occur. In this way, AFCAS will save life, protect livelihood, safeguard national assets, and reduce avoidable losses to fire disaster.
The automated fire compliance and safety system AFCAS is expected to begin its initial implementation across 5 regions: Greater Accra, Ashanti, Western, Eastern, and Northern. Following the initial 5-region implementation, AFCAS will be extended to all 16 regions and 261 district commands across Ghana within the same year, achieving full national coverage. And now the Vice President, Professor Nana Jin-Opoku-Agyeman, has reiterated government's commitment to promoting inclusion and equal opportunities for all children. Speaking during a visit to the New Horizon Special School in Accra, the Vice President noted that national development must reflect the needs and contributions of every citizen.
The Vice President commended the school's management and staff for their commitment to nurturing and empowering children with special needs, including those of the autism spectrum. At the school's annual Fun Day and Games, which brought together children with special needs, teachers, caregivers and parents, the Vice President encouraged participants to remain steadfast in pursuing their goals.
I'm very mindful of everything that has gone in to make this evening so beautiful. It can never be about us only. And it's all about recognizing the differences we have. And it's about looking at all the differences and bringing them together.
She reaffirmed government's commitment to promoting inclusion and equal opportunities for all children. Professor Nana Jin donated items to improve hygiene and sanitation at the school. Management of the special school expressed appreciation for the gesture.
Well, away from the presidency, the Director of Communications for the New Patriotic Party, Richard Ahiagba, is urging government to take a more strategic, not emotional approach to the challenges facing Ghana's cocoa sector. Speaking on key points with Alfred Okansi, he stressed that clearing arrears and adopting practical measures would be the key measure to stabilizing the industry.
It's not strategic because, you see, Cocoa Board is not just a company that exists for no reason, right? It has a strategic economic value to the state, where it is a vehicle to mobilize forex for the state. And so because the price has gone down, which it does over time, right? And it has always been going down. And so because it's gone down and you're changing the price middle of the season, okay? When you have given people guarantee, you know, Cocoa Board is a monopoly. And which monopoly grants Cocoa Board the power to be the sole buyer of cocoa beans? Farmers don't have any option to go anywhere. And so if you have that monopoly power and you have given people comfort of price and they have gone to execute their part of the deal to bring you cocoa beans, okay? Yes. And in the process, you come to reduce the price, you are abusing that monopoly power. You understand? And then also, looking at the strategic, position of Cocoa Board as a matter of a vehicle to mobilize forex. If you do that now, for the farmer, it's business. So the farmer now decides that, okay, cocoa is no longer profitable for me because the price is going down, the government keeps bringing the price down. So if the price keeps going down all the way down, what would you do? Would you stop exporting cocoa? You understand? So the government has to come in with creative ideas to see how do we maintain the industry, because this is not just about the farmer, it's about the country and our economy as well. So if you are just going to be emotional about it and say that, oh, it's going down, so we're also going to go down, that is not strategic. In our time, cocoa prices went down. They always go down. You understand? But then government must be strategic, seeing the vision and the objective of Cocoa Board. You have to be strategic. Cocoa is not one thing you can say, oh, if we don't produce cocoa and sell cocoa again, we are fine. We have to. Okay?
Absolutely.
The idea about processing it is great, but right now, you have to be strategic to keep the sector. So the decision that is made has the potential to collapse.
Still on the key points, the Member of Parliament for Sanrigu, Ata Issa, says the cocoa crisis situation is from the past. According to him, the previous MPP administration left the Ghana Cocoa Board with loans of 17.8 billion cedis, adding that the current National Democratic Congress government has already cleared 3.4 billion of that debt.
When we are doing national discussions like this, we have to sometimes look beyond politics. If you reflect properly, you see that you actually contributed a lot to the current difficulties that we are suffering.
If you say you mean what? Who?
I mean Richard and his group. I want to read the validated legacy financial burden. Yes, the legacy financial burden and debt position of Cocoa Board as of 2024. The overall inherited debt, Cocoa Board entered the 2025 with roughly 17.8 billion Ghana cedis in loans alone. Loans is different from total liabilities because there are other operational liabilities that Cocoa Board has and forward contracts. But I'm talking about loans they actually went to take. That every month, this current government has to pay principal and interest. 17.8 billion in loans. The current NDC government, out of the 17.8 billion, has already paid 3.4 billion Ghana cedis. And I want to give, this is a table that was done by the African Development Bank. And you can access it on their website. African Development Bank loan principal repayments. As of February this year, the total outstanding was 1.872 billion Ghana cedis Cocoa Board owes African Development Bank. 1.872 billion in 1 year.
And this it was taken within which particular crop season?
2024. The total loan portfolio as of 2024 was 17.8 billion. The total loan portfolio. Now, every loan, you pay principal and that of the interest. I'm saying that by the time the NDC took office, the total amount of money we were owing the African Development Bank was 1.72 billion Ghana cedis. Dr. Randy Abe and Finance Minister has already paid 1.2 billion Ghana cedis, even under these difficulties. And people ask, why did we pay when we can't pay the cocoa farmer? Let me tell you something. The interest on that loan accrued to about 209 million Ghana cedis. Interest payments on the African Development Loan was 209 million Ghana cedis. Dr. Randy Abe has already paid 165 million out of the 209 million.
That is the interest.
Interest. So the more you delay or defer payment of the African Development Bank loan, the more you pay the interest cost on it.
Away from the key points, the Western Regional Security Task Force has destroyed several makeshift structures and seized excavator control boards, a pickup truck, and other equipment used for illegal mining in Wassa Amenfi West Municipality. The operation is part of ongoing efforts to combat illegal mining, also known as Galamsey, along the Tano and Ankobra rivers. Rama Smith has more.
Following a series of serious pollution incidents affecting the Tano River and surrounding farmlands, the Western Regional Security Task Force against illegal mining has for the first time extended its anti-illegal mining operations to Wassa Amenfi West. The team, comprising of personnel from the National Security, the Western Naval Command, the 2nd Infantry Battalion and the Blue Water Guards, conducted both land and riverine operations during this exercise. It raided 4 communities, namely Sefiokra, Yabebe, Bena, and Atakwesi, where illegal miners operate along the banks of the Tano River and wash their waste directly into the river. The Navy was unable to patrol the Tano River due to its current state. It was observed that the illegal miners have developed a new strategy of removing essential parts of the excavators, including control boards and monitors, as well as demobilizing the machinery, making it impossible for the task force to track the equipment.
We discovered that most of the illegal miners were operating along close to the Tano River. And all the activities in terms of washing their soil goes into the Tano River, and therefore causing serious pollution. We managed to seize some excavators, but on hearing of our presence, all of them fled and took most of the control board, and even conducted certain mechanics on the excavators, and therefore it affected seriously how it can be evacuated from the site.
Despite this, the team was able to burn makeshift structures along the riverbanks, destroy pumping machines, seize one Toyota pickup, and remove 3 control boards of some excavators, which were difficult to track due to the nature of the terrain. The team leader, Brigadier General Musa Waja, retired, stated there will be sustained operations on the river for illegal miners operating along the riverbanks to cease their activities.
So there will be sustained operation to create the necessary awareness for these illegal miners who are operating in the river and along its banks to stop the activities in order to improve the surface of the river. There are a lot of challenges, but it's not something that will hinder our operation. And I can assure the good people of the Western region that the River Tano and River Ankubra will be rescued.
Irama Smith, TV3 News, Western Region.
Well, away from illegal mining, the leadership of the Local Government Workers Union of the Trades Union Congress says it will support the industrial action declared by the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana, CLOGSAG, over delays in implementing an enhanced salary structure and improved conditions of service. At a joint management and finance committee meeting held on Friday, the union described the delay as harmful to staff morale and economic well-being and called for unity among workers in the local government service. According to the press statement released on the 20th of February and signed by the General Secretary of the union, Christopher Aboka, the union will join a nationwide strike from March 9 if government fails to honor the agreement. Of course, the Labour team will be following up keenly on this and updating you in our subsequent bulletins. And let's know what you make of stories that I've aired so far. We are active on Facebook, TV3 Ghana. Engage us this very afternoon. And now the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, has unveiled an ambitious plan targeting $360 billion in domestic revenue by the year 2028, with an immediate goal of $230 billion set for this fiscal year. This bold approach is designed to strengthen financial resources and support sustainable growth in Ghana's economy. Here's a report by Claude Kumi Ebisa.
The 2026 Domestic Tax Annual Management Retreat held in Sunyani, GRA Commissioner General Anthony Kwesi Sapon addressed attendees, emphasizing the critical mission of aligning revenue mobilization efforts with the national vision led by President John Dramani Mahama under the Reset Agenda.
Together, as you know, we have set ourselves as GRA that by 2028, we must be delivering a minimum of $360 billion to support national agenda. So in respect of 2026, our sector minister, Honorable Dr. Kassel Atuforsen, has tasked us to raise not less than $225 billion towards the 360 agenda in 28. And we on our own, in order to challenge ourselves, have said that we must strive to achieve $230 billion. If you look at this compared to what we did in 2025, we are being challenged to raise at least $50 billion to support national development. This is not a mean and small task.
The Commissioner General urged business partners to collaborate closely with the GRA, particularly in matters related to value-added tax payments, underlining that compliance is vital for shared national growth.
It is through your businesses that we generate tax revenue, particularly VAT. Again, we call on you to ensure that you are partnering with GRA to deliver on your responsibility, which is know the VAT taxes you must pay them on time, and together let's join hands to build our nation.
Bono Regional Minister Joseph Adai Akwabwa called for innovative approaches enhance compliance and mobilize domestic revenue, stressing its crucial role in the nation's economic recovery and development agenda.
If all of us put on our patriotic caps and remain faithful to the demands of our civic responsibilities, we shall reach the desired destination. Accordingly, I find the theme guiding this retreat, which I quote, transforming for impact and growth on VAT performance and compliance, not only timely, but bold and appropriate.
Claude Kumi Ebisa, TV3 News, Sunyane.
It was an internet banter between two countries, sparking a mix of reactions over a dress known as Fugu. But beyond the teasing and the internet fun lies a rebirth of an almost collapsed industry. In this feature, my colleague Christopher Marco chronicles how the declaration of a Fugu Day by government is reviving the Fugu industry in Daboya.
Fugu, also known as Batakari, is a traditional northern Ghanaian hand-woven cotton fabric stitched together to form a structured garment. It is seen as a symbol of royalty and identity worn by traditional leaders and other citizens.
For many people in the northern parts of Ghana, Fugu means royalty. Now, where you come from determines the type of Fugu you wear. Preferably, your ethnic group is easily identified by the type of Fugu you wear.
Daboya, located in the Savannah region, is widely recognized as the premier hub of weaving and producing Fugu. Almost every resident here is involved in this craft, which is known for its high-quality hand-dyed and locally woven cotton fabric that serves as a vital economic pillar for the area. The process involves traditional techniques, including dyeing cotton yarn in pits, using indigo and weaving on hand looms, creating distinctive narrow-striped fabrics. The town acts as a central supplier, with dealers from across the country including sourcing smokes from here. The weaving industry provided hundreds of jobs to the youth and children in the past.
I started this job right away from my childhood, that is early 90s. From school, we'll come and be learning it. So before I get to basic 3, I was already a weaver. That is the major work of the community. So after school, every male child after school, you'll be directed to go, you'll be assigned to a master, somebody who is a specialist in the weaving. So you'll be assigned to the person. Immediately after closing, you go to the person at that tender age. So before you grow, you would have been an expert in the weaving. So since then, we have been into the weaving up to now.
A recent banter on the internet between Zambia and Ghana, which started when President John Dramani Mahama wore a traditional Fugu during his state visit to Zambia, has led to a renewed interest in the traditional attire. The online frenzy has led to the declaration of Wednesdays as Fugu Day by the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts to promote the traditional garment and support local weavers and artisans. The Daboya smoke industry is beginning to experience a revival following the recent frenzy between the two countries, Zambia and Ghana. Here in Daboya, the industry, which was once struggling, is beginning to see weavers and designers returning to their sheds to produce.
Every other Fugu you see across the world is imitated from Wasapi. Of course, if you see what I'm wearing, there's a Fugu I am wearing is about 15 years old. However, it still maintains its color. These colors you find are traditionally dyed in a pit. All over Daboya, if you go around, you see these traditional pits where the dyes are done. The thread itself is the cotton thread, which is normally white. But our people have the skill to dye it into any color that they want.
The texture of the Daboya one is different from the texture of others. In terms of hardness or thickness, the Daboya material is more thick than the other materials. That is one. 2, the quality of the Daboya smoke is more higher than the others in the sense that the Daboya smoke is a local dye, but yet when you watch it, it doesn't fade. That's another technicality of it. And buying of that chemical, like I said, they import them from foreign country. So technically, the cost would have been arise.
For the Ghana Tourism Authority, the declaration of the Fugu Day will help revive the smoke industry in Daboya.
The whole attention now is on the Savannah region, for that matter, Daboya. As Ghana Tourism Authority, plans are underway to try to even propagate this message the more. An international event is coming up to sort of celebrate the made in Ghana use of Fugu.
District Chief Executive for North Gonja reveals the assembly will soon meet the producers to scale up production.
Also planning to hold a stakeholder meeting where we are bringing on board all the smoke weavers. There's an association which is inactive for now, which we are trying to revive and to ensure that at least this time around the industry that is falling or getting down, we should be able to at least empower them.
Social media has played a significant role in reviving the Daboya Smoke Factory. The viral debate sparked by President Mohamed's Fugu Atta has raised awareness about the traditional garment and its significance in Ghanaian culture. Savannah Regional Minister Salisu Biaworbi hinted of a smoke exhibition fair in Daboya.
The weaving industry is like that. Others may be weaving the cloth, and others are doing the sewing, which is also an art that is being enhanced. So we are working on that, and the Savannah region is preparing to declare a smoke cultural festival within the shortest time, and it's part of our developments that we are preparing for this year.
A revival of the Daboya smoke industry will have significant economic benefits, including job creation and increased income for local communities. Christopher Mwako, TV3 News, Daboya.
My producer is Portia Gabo, my director Harriet Mensa Asumda, and Erica joined with production. On behalf of the entire production team, we thank you so much this afternoon for joining us on Weekend Central. And I've also been beautifully costumed by Mr. POS. You can find them on all social media platforms. Engage them today. Thanks for watching. It's always a pleasure coming your way. Have a good afternoon.